The Volvo L50F is the largest machine in Volvo's compact wheel loader line, with an operating weight of almost 10 tonnes. It comes in the standard box design for NZG's line of Volvo models, with the model visible inside the box, but there's no information on the box about the real machine. Pulling the insides out of the box, there's a cardboard backing, and the model's contained between a couple of clear plastic formers. This type of packaging works pretty well in protecting the model, so all you need to do is to separate the two plastic formers, and then you can lift out the model, but you just need to be careful that you don't pull on any of the more delicate parts. There's no assembly to do because the model is complete out of the box, and there's no instructions provided either. Looking underneath the model, the detailing of the transmission is good because it's articulated across the pivot point. The chunky rubber tyres have a nice matte finish and they're mounted on good detailed wheels. The cab is to a high standard with slightly tinted windows, realistic looking window sills, mirrors and very good work lights on the top. There are also thin metal grab rails which add to the detail. The windscreen wiper is extremely thin, but on the review model it wouldn't quite lay flat against the window. At the rear, the body shape is nicely formed, the Volvo model designation is clearly rendered in graphics, and the rear lights are painted. There's also a towing point. Details between the wheels are good because the access steps have a slight anti-slip surface, and there's very small graphics above the wheel arch. The loader mechanism is very good because the connection points are made with very small friction rivets which are painted and so are hardly visible. There are some hydraulic hoses which run to the bucket connection point and they add some interesting detail. And the metal general purpose bucket is well formed with sharp teeth. So putting the wheel loader through its paces on the test surface, the wheels on the model were actually a little bit stiff, so it wasn't entirely free rolling. And picking the model up, the rear axle is pivoted with a large range of movement possible. Each of the wheels turns independently but with a fair degree of friction on the review model. The machine steers by hydraulic cylinders across the pivot point, and that's replicated on the model, but the range of movement is pretty small at about 20 degrees, maybe only half of the real machine. One very nice feature is the opening engine compartment, which opens quite high and also poses in the up position, and you can see that the engine is really quite detailed with a good use of colour to indicate different components. When you're done looking, the engine cover can be snapped shut. The functionality of the loader mechanism is implemented quite well. The bucket has a good tipping angle and you can raise the whole mechanism up to a fairly decent height, perhaps not quite as high as the real machine, and the cylinders are stiff enough to hold any pose that you want to set. Although the bucket height is slightly constrained, the important thing is that it is high enough to pose the model loading a typical European tipper. Overall, this is another good quality Volvo model by NZG. The details are certainly very pleasing and the features work reasonably well. It's good value and would display well with other models in a suitable diorama. It's highly recommended.